So I'm back to report. The Nolan have fallen. All their systems are ours, and they're slowly being purged from the galaxy. I realize in this small pocket dimension, we're not trapped in here with them. They're trapped in here with us. So, as we look out, some of the Marines have mentioned that the insectoid xenos to the celestial south down here, the Klakon, should be our next target for elimination. Potentially, we could go after these xenos on this side as well. Let's just take a quick look here at our races tab. That is the Illyrians. The reason we want to target both the Klakon and the Illyrian is that they are considerably weaker than the other xenos currently in the galaxy. If we look here, Klakon and Illyrian in the composite view are considerably weaker than the Darlok, the Sakra, and of course us, the Terrans. So it makes sense to take them out now, capture as much technology from them as possible, and in general, capture the colonies and the buildings upon them. That's what the Marines are well suited for. So let's take a quick view here, make sure that our leaders are properly assigned. So our ship's officers, we've only got Captain Jared, but let's reassign him to one of the new Purger 1s. Since it is an upgraded class relative to the Purger 1.0 or the old Paladins. He'll be there in 5 turns. And then as far as the remainder of our leaders, let's just make sure Crassus here is in a 3 planetary system. That's pretty good. Simek has 3 planets, building towards a 4th, but no leader there. Rash Iki is aligned to Zoth system. So possibly, well, and there's another 3rd planet there that will be colonized at some point. Gallus is in Rotan. Certainly there must be a better system for Gallus to be in charge of. We want our leaders to be in charge of the systems we control with the most potential long-term population. So not a newly conquered system, but a system that will have a lot of planets and that has quite a bit of population. Auri is here, fighting off pollution in the Rigel system. There's the Mentar system. Yeah, I could see we reassign someone to the Simex system now, because I think that there will be a lot of benefit to having 4 planets all pumping out large-scale population. Although right now, Simic doesn't really have a population to speak of, so let's not mess with it. We'll leave those leaders where they're at currently. It's the best assignments we can come up with for them. We're having some food shortages. That's probably because of some colonists we are currently in the process of annihilating. And we also want to make sure that the Cetus system has a settler en route to it. Now, our freighter fleets are quite deplenished at this point, but let's just grab someone off of Moretta 1 and send them to Cetus. It's in the similar neck of the woods of the galaxy here, pocket dimension, so 4 turns. And that, of course, does give us a deficit on our freighter fleet. So let's pluck off some Cylons at Mentar 2 so they can feed themselves and not put such a burden on our freighter fleet. And now let's sort by production. See, we have some Purgers that are coming up very shortly. But yeah, let's just jump the line and get a quick freighter fleet squeezed out there. We'll just repurpose some of the ship material going into that ship of the line. It's already airtight. It's already space worthy. We'll slap some crude engines on it. We're going to do that and generate 2 additional freighter fleets. So a total of 10 freighters will be done. And we should have those both in 1 turn. This will allow us to move population around more rapidly. But otherwise, we do have more battleships coming online in the next 8 months, we'll say. We'll have 3 more. So that's useful to us. But otherwise, I would say we assemble a fleet maybe down here at the Monius system to push into Thog. And we could probably recall some of our fleets to Rigel and then launch into the Tier system. Now, I've noticed that the Cylons, or sorry, the Chryslons are retreating from Mentar. They'd sent in a battleship or 2, but we drove them off, I believe by completing a missile base potentially. Man, they've actually got quite a bit of fleet action going on right now. Not overwhelmingly powerful, but a considerable number of battleships. We do need to be careful. So let's take a look at our stance. We have a transport closing in on Simac. We have 3 battleships up here off of Cetus. So let's actually send them out on scouting patrols to these stars that we've yet to cover. And I'll move the 3rd battleship. I'll let those folks do their scouting, but let's send this fellow down to the Mentar system. Let's assemble the fleet at Mentar for the time being. Let's just check Zoth. Zoth is one of our critical food production worlds, so we keep a battleship there just to help disincentivize Xenos from invading. If they were to hit our food supply, it could hurt us quite a bit. We would definitely be suffering from food. We'd have to reslot a lot of Factorium workers to food production, and that would greatly slow down the production of our naval fleet. And Mentar itself, we have 3 battleships and transport. That's not bad. And then en route to Mentar, we have another transport and another battleship. One of the Purger 1.1s. That's good. So altogether, we will need additional transports to prosecute war against both the Illyrian and the Klakon at the same time. Realistically, we'll need one transport for every colony they have. Our Marines are tough and have no trouble cutting through the Xenos. They seem to be quite weak relative to our Marines, which is probably obvious at this point. But if there's 10 systems and over here there's 12 systems, that roughly equates to 22 transports. We need a lot of transports. We've only got a couple right now. So that being said, I see a transport in production at Rotan. Let's just take a look at Rotan's production queue. 2 transports. Let's just load them up on transports. Just have them start to continuously pump out transports. That's a queue loaded with 7 of them. And for the time being, they have plenty of room to grow with population, so they don't need a biosphere or anything unusual like that. So we'll hit return. 2 freighter fleets coming online. We got some star bases finishing, which really help with defense of our colonies, which is important. And we also have some colony bases that are completing, which obviously spreads our population out. It's not a bad thing. Now, we've sent 1 colonist to Cetus. I'm not sure if we have a colonist en route to Mentar just yet. Let's give it a turn. We'll get some freighter fleets established. Oh boy. We have Xenos tearing through the warp. The webways, I should say. We don't really have access to the warp here. We've developed a new colony base in the Null system. We will deposit it on Null 2, which is a small, toxic, yet abundant, minerally abundant planet. They're landing there, and they are quite unhappy. Let's start with an automated factory, followed by a marine barracks, followed by a robo-miner plant. We'll let those finish up, and that will greatly improve the morale as well as the overall production of this system. This colony will go from there. Oh, what a revolting Xenos. The Alkari Ambassador.
The galaxy offers a great many treasures, Emperor Sol says that. It is our hope that we can share this vast wealth of resources.
I don't think that's going to be an option. Some sort of bizarre bird-type creature. Disgusting. Null Prime finished construction of a colony base. Annihilated the last conquered Nullum at Tau 3. We'll need to make sure we have a Factorium group there. 1 million workers or so should be able to take over the systems that the Nullum had developed. We'll repurpose them to our needs. Marine barracks completed. Freighter fleet completed, and an additional freighter fleet completed. That's perfect. That's what we needed. We have quite a few freighters available. Hold on here. So let's have this transport rendezvous. Actually, let's just send them straight to Rigel. They're a long way from Mentar. So we'll have them go to Rigel, knowing that we're going to launch probably an invasion of Tyr out of Rigel at some point. Now, in 2 turns, this Xenos fleet will invade Rigel. Such a small and puny fleet. It looks like 4 frigate or scout class ships. I can't imagine that would be a threat to us. But let's go to the Rigel system and just check on the status of our 2 colonies. They have star bases. Let's So and they have purgers in the queue in 7 turns, but those won't be completed soon enough. So let's move a missile base ahead, and it will complete immediately. So we're essentially going to we'll lift the missile batteries away from the frame of that battleship being made up at the star dock. We'll cut it away. We'll just put it into lower down to the planet, and it'll essentially function as a temporary missile base. We'll do the same here on the other Rigel colony. They're also working on Purger. Fortunately, those missile systems are ready to go, so we'll have them in a single turn. Obviously, we'll have to reconstruct them to get those ships of the line ready. So it'll slow down that process, but I would have to hope that with 2 star bases and 2 missile bases defending those colonies, they'll be able to fend off this Xenos incursion. I don't think that I can get a battleship there on time to help defend. Our ships, realistically speaking, aren't that fast. I'm going to leave this transport here at Rotan for the time being. I don't want it to arrive at Rigel and get involved in that combat with those Xeno scum. And as long as the... what's the name? Is it the... That's not the Chrysler. Who the blue? Oh, the Sakra. Just thinking of crystalline entities. As long as the Sakra stay out of our area, we'll leave them be for the time being. But at some point, we'll destroy them or they'll destroy us. All right, let's continue. Scouts arrive at the Mochos system, empty. And scouts arrive at the Wiria system, also empty. That is disappointing, but it might explain why those systems weren't colonized yet. Because there's simply nothing there to colonize. Acted as something of as a buffer between the Nolan and the Soccer, if I could guess. All right, we've got a Marine barracks finished. Finished construction at Rotan 5 of a biosphere. That's excellent. Missile base and missile base completed at Rigel Prime and Rigel 2. Just in time for that Xenos invasion. And here we are looking at Rotan 5. They completed a biosphere. I'm not sure why. It looks like they had plenty of headroom there for production. I'm not exactly sure what the point of that was. We've got transports in production. We've got more than enough freighter fleets for the time being. We're not really interested in colony ships because we're essentially conquering the colonies that the Xenos have already... we're conquering them intact for the most part with the buildings there and just getting rid of the Xenos scum. Kind of like, brushing the filth down the storm drains. But I don't think I'm going to build any more colony ships. It doesn't seem like a good use of our capacity. It's not really what we're skilled at, to be quite honest. Could we use more spies? I don't think so for now. We're not having our technology stolen from us, and our spies aren't particularly capable, so I don't know that they'd be well suited to stealing technology from other Xenos at this point. It's questionable. Let's work on additional transports. We know we're going to need around 20 transports to conquer the Klakon and the Illyrian. Just rough approximation from the number of systems. So that's 14 and 14 in the queue right now, plus the few we have. So we'll let them do that. It seems like a reasonable compromise for the time being. And actually, let's move our battleships onwards here. That's interesting. In the heart of that nebula, we can't reach that star. All right, well. But otherwise, we'll call back this battleship here. We'll send this battleship to Rigel, since there really is nothing else up in that. We've essentially explored the western half of the pocket dimension at this point. We'll hit turn. And Terran fleet attacks the Terran at the colony of Rigel 2. All right. Oh. Extremely powerful beams, possibly a particle beam of some type. Let's take a look at the Xenos and let's get a quick scan. This is a radar. Beam attack is plus 155, which is pretty impressive, and beam defense is 120, which is extreme. Missile evasion is 85, which is quite high. They're rocking what's called Zentronium armor. 40 structure, 40 armor. It's not that much. No shields. That's a huge benefit for us. They have a small 5 Marine crew. So it's potentially... Well, we don't have any ships in orbit, so unless they get next to our star base, I don't know there's a good way for us to try and board their ships. Well, they're using what's called the particle beam, and they have neutronium bombs. Damper fields, quantum detonators, and EMC jammer. The EMC jammer obviously helps protect them from our missiles. I'm not exactly sure what the quantum detonator or the damper field. So, that being said, we shall start launching our missile salvos. I mean, there's only 4 of the ships. And are they hitting into our starbase? Yeah, it's holding up reasonably well for the time being. Let's see if we can hit them. Yeah, we were able to do some damage to their armor. They have no shields, so theoretically we could take them out, although that was a disappointingly small amount of damage we did. And a missile salvo hit and did significant damage, but did not destroy the raider. That is also a bummer. We'll fire another salvo, and we will target again. Oh, immobilized. Oh, now I wish we had Marines to go capture that ship. We'll hit done. Oh my gosh. Okay, we successfully took out one of the ships. Our starbase is... The armor's holding up, but this is going to be a heck of a battle here, for sure. We'll fire another missile salvo here at this raider. And we'll essentially just try and take the closest, although they seem to be holding position around us pretty uniformly. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but... With one of their ships down, our starbase should be able to last a little bit longer. Ooh. They're turning into it very quickly. Fire another salvo. I believe the missiles can redirect, although I'm not 100% sure about that. I don't think our starbase has much left in the tank at this point. That missile flight should take out that ship. Let's target this one. And we'll hit done. And our starbase has very little life left in it, unfortunately. Alright, that took out the second raider. Our starbase will be destroyed very shortly here. But let's keep firing on this raider. It's already slightly damaged, or heavily damaged actually. There's no armor left, so we're tearing through it pretty quickly. I can't believe our starbase is still intact. There must be... There is nothing left. There is no armor. There is no structure. There are only internal components at this point. And I guess some Marines holding on. Here, let's do a quick scan. 16 Marines with 13 structure left. That's what's holding the ship together. I would imagine the Marines in their powered armor are literally holding on to the different components to keep the thing intact at this point. Fortunately, I don't think our starbase or the Marines will survive this attack, but we will launch on the raider and pray that our missile base will be sufficient to finish this thing off. Our targeting's gone. We weren't able to hit because I would guess our targeting computer's gone. And still we survived. Gosh. I've never seen anything quite like that. Another missile salvo. That's unbelievable. I've never seen any void craft of any sort survive with that little structure intact. That was the end of it. Oh my, they're bombing us with very damaging bombs. But we were able to drive them off. That's at the loss of a starbase, unfortunately. So Zubin Prime finished a starbase. Terra Prime finished a new Purger. Transport's done. We annihilated the last conquered Gnolum at Cetus 3, and a settler arrived at Mentar 2. So we did have a settler en route to Mentar. That is nice. And I can see here our colonies on Rigel are approaching maximum population, 6 of 7. So there's 2 things we need. Let's get that starbase built and then a biosphere. And we finished the Purger here. We have a little bit of headroom left on New Terra Prime, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's get another Purger in the queue. And we finished a starbase here on Zubin Prime. There's no other planets that are colonizable. So what could they work on? We can switch something like this planet over to soil enrichment. You can see right now that a single farmer is producing 3 food. It's quite a effective colony for growing food. Oh, no, wait. Nope, that's not true. One of those is soil or hydroponics, I'm guessing, somewhere. Spaceport. Well, that's odd. Hold on, let's just see here. Yeah, we're only producing one food there. So I'm not going to turn this into a farming world. I don't think that'd be a great idea. We'll simply make another purger. We'll hit return. And I do want to go into Rigel real quickly, and I'll let them finish that purger, but I do want a biosphere next in the queue because they're going to be maxing their population pretty shortly. They'll need the headroom to grow. So we ran off that attack, but we've got to rebuild the starbase. So in general, we got nothing out of that, unfortunately. It's a complete waste of our time. We arrived at the EQ system, and there's nothing but an asteroid belt. Simple enough. I'm going to have this battleship defend Null, since Null is one of the capital planets in the system. Large, Terran, rich. Yeah, we want to protect that, and ultimately Null may become a good farming community for us. Let's go into our colonies tab real quickly and sort by population. We want to make sure that we don't... we have our first worker there at Mentar, which is great. But I want to make sure there's no empty colonies. We did send colonists en route to Cetus. They should be there in a turn or two. So that should work fine. And let's look at production real quickly. Plenty of purgers coming. Let's help Simac 3 with that automated factory. They'll be at that for a long while. Hit turn. Colony base at Na. This is going to be for Na 2. And we'll start them off with kind of our standard. We'll do the automated factory, followed by a marine barracks for morale and security, and a robo-miner. After that, we'll ascertain what the best route for that colony will be. We finished the transport. We finished a new starbase, automated factory, marine barracks, colony base. Excellent. And at this point, we can send our transports onto Rigel. So we are assembling a fleet at Rigel to go attack Tyr. What do we have here in Mentar? Let's see. We have a single battleship en route to Mentar. Actually, that one would be excellent for defending Mentar. Why don't we send these 4 battleships and 2 transports onto Rigel now to prepare for the invasion? So they're 5 turns out. I think that will work pretty well. We do want to keep a little eye here. Single battleship at Tai. I don't see any other enemy fleet, so I don't want to say we're safe. We're never safe. These Xenos seem to think that our pocket dimension is in need of some sort of organized ruling body. Well, they seem to not understand that we have no need for Xenos whatsoever. We will be the entirety of the body that remains at some point, or will be destroyed, one or the other. So the High Council is convened to elect a leader. We are one of the options. This is my representative, not me, obviously. I've got a lot of hair. So Dactylus did vote for themselves. We will vote for ourselves, and because neither leader has 2/3 majority, no one will win, which is fine by us. Here's the Ion Pulse Cannon. Fires a particle wave that overloads ship systems and inflicts 2 to 10 points of damage, bypassing all armor and structure. Completely ineffective against monsters and Terran ships. Modifications eventually would be auto-fire and continuous. So this essentially can target the internal components, hopefully burning out engines, immobilizing ships, allowing our Marines to more readily take the ship. So that being said, we're at the 900 RP level. There's only 2 things left here, the Holo Simulator and the Neutron Scanner. Let's go with the Holo Simulator. Ultimately, that will yield a 20% bonus to production, research, reproduction, and food growth. So kind of gives us a little bit of everything. We'll get those built to just sort of improve the mood and the lot, and obviously to infuse our population with propaganda, as all material they watch in the Holo Simulator will be pre-approved and designed by the leadership. We don't need any sort of well, nothing overly creative, if you know what I mean. Feed people's minds what you want them to consume. All right. Did we complete a battleship here at Moretta? We did. We're going to send them to Rigel to join that invasion fleet. We'll hit turn. Biosphere is completed, and another transport completed. That's good. We need as many transports as we can get. And now that that is done here at Rigel, we can have them continue work on... Oh, actually, let's not have them work on a Purger. Let's redesign. So we'll go up to Design, the Purger 1.1. We're going to redesign that as the Purger 1.2. And down here we have Combat Speed. I think we could remove that at this point. I don't think we need augmented engines any longer. Possibly a bonus to hit with beam weapons would be a better option for us. So, Battle Scanner is a plus 50% to hit with beam weapons. We have the Battle Pods to increase the overall space of the ship by 50%. Of course, Heavy Armor and Reinforced Hull triples armor and structure for the ship, as well as making it more likely that engines are not destroyed through the Reinforced Hull, and the Heavy Armor negates armor-piercing weapons. And those are both good options for us. Now, let's kind of repurpose our weaponry here. Let's clear out... oh, we have assault shuttles as well. Excellent. Let's set everything to no weapon for the time being, and we'll rebuild the offensive capabilities of the ship here. Mass driver, no weapon. So let's start with missiles. Missiles are nice in particular because they deliver a lot of damage in a single hit, and they're great for taking out planetary structures like missile bases, fighter garrisons, ground batteries. Our beam weapons are not really effective against scouring a planet from orbit. So I want to make sure that we have a certain amount of missiles. Now, let's jump over to the missile option. We only have nuclear missiles, no Mercularite or anything else. And they're fully loaded, though. They are MIRVed, heavily armored, fast EMC'd, 2-shot salvo. We'll hit accept. Let's reduce that to 2 missiles for the time being. But because those are MIRVed, each warhead hits with the effect of 4 nukes altogether. So 2 missiles equals 4 warheads. And if we're going to use them primarily against planetary surfaces, that's a whole lot of firepower hitting a planetary surface. Now, nextly, let's look at our specials. We do have assault shuttles. Now, 4 shuttles carry 4 Marines. So these are essentially like small fighter craft that will launch from our main ships to go take over enemy ships from range. I'm going to put a single one of those. It'll take up 25 space, but I think it'll be a good option. Now, they can't be shot out of space, so you got to be a little bit careful about whether they survive the journey to their target. As always, our battleship can close the gap. And when we get up close, we can just send our Marines aboard. Boarding action by cutting through the hull is normal. So there's multiple ways to get at a ship with our Marines. But at this point, we've got our missiles, we've got our special. Let's jump back to our beam options. So our best weapons are the ion pulse cannon, the neutron blaster, and the mass driver. Now, the nice thing about the neutron blaster is it does have the potential to kill Marines. So I would like one of those heavy mount just to help thin the Marine herd a little bit, which might help our smaller invasionary forces coming from assault shuttles, which is going to be 4 Marines per battleship. Might even the odds a little bit. Let's get ourselves that ion pulse cannon. Has no options yet, but again, any part of that ion pulse cannon that pops through is going to ignore armor and structure and go straight to the engines, which is really what we want. So we'll accept that, and let's put 2 of those on. We really want to burn out those engines. And then let's look at our mass driver option. We have auto fire. We've got some great options here. Geez, actually. Heavy mount auto fire for 20. Let's hit accept, leaving us with just 12 space. So we have 3 main particle weapons now: the neutron blaster, the 2 ion pulse cannons, and just a heavy auto fire mass driver. Now, you think, well, 1 mass driver, that's not that much, but due to the auto fire, it will fire 3 times. Each one of those, however, I'll point out, is at a reduced chance to hit. So essentially, with each shot being at a minus 20% chance to hit. So essentially, it's not as accurate, but we make up for that reduced accuracy with our battle scanner, the plus 50% to hit with beam weapons, which neutron blasters, ion pulse cannons, and mass drivers, even mass drivers, kinetic kill weapons, count as beam weapons for the sake of our designers. So it offsets very well. So that one heavy mount autofire mass driver fires 3 shots. So it's equivalent of 3 of them functionally for us. It's a very powerful weapon. But yeah, let's use up the last of our space here. And let's create a point defense weapon. The mass driver, because it's got the auto fire. Fusion beam does not. So let's do a point defense, auto fire, forward extension, hit accept. And we can only squeeze 2 of those on. So we don't have a whole lot of point defense, but it is, again, the auto fire. So it can, take 3 shots. It's pretty good. So it's equivalent of 6 point defense cannons. Altogether, I think that's an excellent ship that really works well for our Marines by killing enemy Marines, disabling engines, and, of course, the mass drivers themselves punch through the shield. So we will build that. And that's an excellent new ship, well suited to Terran Space Marines. Will it return? Just checking our time here. All right. We have additional transports completing. We'll send them on. And you can see here that we are defending our main planets like Mentar, Zoth, and Null, each with their own battleship. We probably want to get a battleship down to Monius at some point. That's just a frigate there right now. I could see Xenos potentially trying to pick that off, which, of course, I don't care for. But are we ready to invade? No, we have battleships en route here, but we'll have quite a few battleships in the invasionary fleet. New Terra 2, christened the Purger 1, we'll add that. Another transport, a research lab, and a marine barracks. Excellent. And we are nearly maxing out here at New Terra 2. So, well, there's nothing else we can do. We have no way to handle additional pollution, and we've already built the... Yeah, there's nothing else to do except build more Purgers 2. Right now, they're able to complete one of those in 8 turns. That's extremely rapid turnaround. I love it. And we will send the battleship onto Rigel. Be there in 1 turn. So we're going to have quite the invasionary fleet. And we'll send additional transports onto Rigel. And we'll hit turn. One place where I'd say we have a deficit right now, or not a deficit, but we're not growing well, is in our surplus monetary fund. I would love to be able to help some of our struggling colonies develop their automated factories more quickly, but we're just not producing wealth that rapidly. But we do have a new colony base here for Mentar 1, which is an ultra-rich, barren planet. Industry per worker, 8. This will be excellent for us. So what we're going to want here is, of course, an automated factory, followed by a marine barracks, followed by a robo-miner plant. And I'm just going to add pollution processor onto the back end of that queue for now. So they'll get going on that very rapidly. Let's hit return. There's the colony base and a transport ship completed. Now, let's just check our colonies real quickly. Let's sort by population and make sure that we don't have any colonies. There's Cetus. It did get its worker finally. So you can see for these newly formed colonies, some of them have quite an uphill battle to get that initial automated factory done. This is what I would like to help with, is purchasing these out. They're going to be coming in at about 100 credits a piece or less. Interesting. We don't really have a good way to generate monetary wealth, unfortunately. Perhaps there's a technology we can capture from some of the Xeno scum. Some of them may have sort of a better feel for developing capital. It's just not something us Terrans really focus on. What need do we have of surplus goods for the population when, well, war is all that really matters to us. But you can see here we do have Purgers coming online. Oh, and actually we should swap out these Purger 1s with Purger 2s. Let's do that. There's no reason to continue making the Purger 1, in my opinion. I think we have a ship that's much better suited to our needs. So we will switch all these out right now. May delay production a little bit. So like, for instance, this one here at Moretto is a 22 turn on the Purger 1. Let's swap it and we'll see how the 22 changes, how much more expensive it is. So we look at Moretta, it's at 22, so no loss. It's very efficient, very similar in the overall cost of the ship, which is fantastic for us. And finally, here at New Terra, we're still struggling to produce anything at New Terra. We'll clear that out. I would love to pluck a farmer away there and get them working. Let's get a little more production out of that planet. Oh, that's a great use, but it does mean we need to swap out farmers elsewhere. So let's sort by food real quickly. These are our primary production worlds. Obviously, these Xenos will be eradicated in the coming turns, which may help with our food plight. But otherwise, yeah, let's pluck away someone at Zolth and put them into food production. There we go. We have very little capability to produce food, unfortunately, right now. We have to make sure we don't lose Zolth. And obviously, if we lose New Terra 3, that's pretty much the game for our species here in this pocket dimension. At any rate, we're looking all right. Transports are continuing to be built in large quantities. That's very good for us, and we will move on these transports. One more turn and our fleet should be assembled, and we can go for our invasion. Oh, look at this disgusting troll-like creature. Repulsive Commodore Seer. Yeah, no, we will not be hiring him. And here at Simac, we do have a colony base completed. This will be a nice 4-planet system. Be an excellent place to get a leader assigned once they have some population to make it worth it. But for the time being, pretty poor little planet. We'll do the automated factory, the marine barracks, and the robo-miner plant. Once they're completed with those, we'll take another look. Transport finished, colony base, and automated factory all completed. Some small food issues, not unexpected for us. So we will simply pop a worker away here. They're not very effective at Cadath, are they? Rather pluck a couple more at Zolth away, since they are very efficient at food production. There we go. That should do the job. And then let's also sort by name real quickly. Bear with me here. So we just want to make sure that none of our systems are at maximum population. And they really aren't. Our population doesn't grow too rapidly. Here on New Terra, we're at 8 of 10, 11 of 12, and of course 20 of 20. There's not much we can do about that. Rigel, we've been slowly picking away people from the Rotan systems and the Rigel systems, periodically sending them off to help us colonize in other places. But that's one of the main reasons we don't have other well-established planets at this point. Of course, at Zolth, Zolth 3 is a massive world that can eventually handle up to 25 population. They've got a long ways to go. Will it turn? Holo simulators completed. We've already got the planetary supercomputer and the positronic computer. So the final thing in the 900 RP tier would be the neutron scanner. We'll create that. And I realize I just skipped over that technology, so we'll go find it here in the info, and we'll just read up on what the holo simulator will do for us. But Null Prime finished a supercomputer, another transport completed, a starbase at Zolth 3, and a research lab completed. That's perfect. I'm glad to know that Zolth 3 is now finally defended by a starbase. It makes me feel much more secure in defending our system there. And I could see trying to complete a colony base at the 3rd planet. Let's get that in there for the time being. We'll hit return. So there's a couple things we want to do. We do want to get our invasionary fleet sent from Rigel. That's a lot of ships that should have no issue. I actually almost feel like we should leave a ship behind at Rigel to defend. I could see the Klakons counterattacking at Rigel when our fleet leaves. So let's deselect a... Do we have any Paladins left? No. Let's just deselect one of the Purgers, and we will send 6 battleships and 8 or 9 transports to tier. I think 6 battleships will be able to crack them, but we'll find out. So they're en route. We've got some defensive battleships sprinkled around the galaxy, which I appreciate. And let's start assembling our future transports. Since there's 9 down here, that's probably going to be enough. Let's send them to Monius. And as soon as Rigel doesn't need their battleship anymore, we'll send that battleship to Monius to help defend it, since it's at the fringes of our furthest expansion into the pocket dimension. So we wanted to check our infograph real quickly, go to our tech review, I believe, and we were looking at the Holo Simulator, which would be under Colony, Holo Simulator. Here we go. Capable of creating realistic 3D images from holographic projections, increases planets' morale by 20%. So again, that's going to be to research, food production, reproduction rate, as well as industrial production. So we will want to get those built up pretty rapidly at this point. I would think our most populous planets would benefit the most from something like that. So I could see swapping in a Holo simulator ahead of the Purger here, and that's going to net us a lot more food off of New Terra 3. New Terra 2, same thing. I think that Holo simulator is going to help them just make so much more production. Zoth, this will help with their reproduction rate pretty rapidly. And finally, yeah, let's get another one at New Terra 3. And that'll help with their production. Or New Terra 1. So we'll stop there with that. 4 Holo simulators for the time being. There is a financial cost, of course, to making those. We have to maintain them. So it's going to give us a BC deficit we may have to adjust for here very shortly. But we'll advance a turn. Holo simulator, Holo simulator, Holo simulator, and transport. Now, what did that get us? A massive food surplus. We're at plus 11 now just because of those Holo simulators. I can't complain about that. More transports. We'll send en route to Monius. So at this point, we can potentially pluck away some of our folks from food production and get them into jobs that are better suited. So here at Zoth 3, our farmers produce 2 food. That's pretty good. And here at New Terra 3, they produce 3 food. So New Terra 3 is definitely still our most valuable food production planet. But yeah, since we've got the freighters to accommodate this, let's start moving some of these workers off of here. And I know it's not real efficient, but New Terra 3 just can't get anything built for the most part. So yeah, I think that's a reasonable trade-off for the time being. Leaving us with a little bit of surplus food. Actually, let's pluck away 1 more worker there. There you go. As again, these Xenos will be exterminated pretty shortly. Much to our joy and wide planetary celebration to know that there's no Xenos around kind of infecting, polluting. You know how it is. Terrans don't like that. All right, we're almost to tier for invasion. Select combat at tier. A battle station, a missile base, and a fighter garrison. Interesting. Now, I realize they haven't counterattacked yet, but they are not trying to defend this planet either. I see some fleets here. I'm going to select combat. Yeah, we're going to take them out here. So, that being said, although we can obviously take over their starbase here with our Marines without any trouble. Actually, it's a battle station. That's impressive. We'll scan that. We don't seem to be able to capture them. They always are destroyed when we end up taking the planet. It's kind of frustrating. I wish that wasn't the case. It is what it is. But let's do a quick scan. The planetary surface here has 0 missile evasion. That's great. We'll send our nuclear bombs down on, or missiles down on the planet's surface. No beam defense. Very high beam attack. They're rocking interceptors and Mercury missiles. And ultimately, each building has 200 structure. So because there's a missile base and a fighter garrison, there's 2 buildings, each with 200. So we need to do 400 damage to the planetary surface. And they have the single 1 damage block, again, because of the planetary atmosphere. But that won't interfere with our missiles too much. That's interesting. And then finally, the battle station. Okay. Look at this structure and armor coming in at 540 per. That is because they do have heavy armor and a reinforced hull. They have security stations, allotting them 40 Marines. Definite challenge for our Marines. Their beam attack's very high, but no beam defense. So our beam weapons will be very effective. They have a bit of missile evasion. That's interesting. Neutron blasters will kill Marines on our ships, and a lot of point defense fusion beams. It's a good challenge. Here's the trick. We don't want to have to chew through that armor, so we are going to want to send our Marines in and capture the battle station. It's just quicker than trying to destroy that much armor and structure. So, that being said, let's close the gap as quickly as possible. Here we go. Let's target our nuclear missiles on the surface of the planet. And we'll start punching through here onto the battle stations, shields, and armor. But done. We'll advance our next ship. Same thing. I think the first salvo of missiles from all 6 ships probably will be sufficient to destroy what's on the planet. I could be wrong. Advance this ship as well. That's the missile flight away. And of course, targeting the battle station. Taking these shields down to make it primed for our Marines to board. Missiles away to the planets. That's 4 more nukes. And then the beam weapons targeting the station. 2 more ships to go. This is one of the older Purger ones. Pretty slow. Missiles away. And beam weapons at the station. Damaging that station pretty quick. I don't think it would actually be that hard to destroy it outright. But we'll try and capture it. Oh, and here's the Ogre 7. Slow ship. Very slow. I honestly really have no idea how capable this ship is. I don't even know if their missiles are upgraded. It's just, I won't worry about it for now. Actually, I am curious. Hold on. Let's just scan the ship. The missiles are MIRVed and ECCM, so it's not bad. They're not fast, they're not heavily armored, but it's not a bad ship. Okay. At any rate, let's fire onto the planetary surface and then fire at the station. We'll hit done. We'll see what happens. Oh, they hit hard. Okay, that was not insignificant. We'll advance our ship nearly to the base. That's excellent. Let's try and take out these missiles. We hit 1 of 9, so not very effective. Let's again target our nukes on the planetary surface. And let's hit everything else at this shield. I want to see if we can punch through. We did. And let's see if we can board from here. I would love to take the ship right now. Here we go. 10 Marines. We killed all 29. We only lost... Oh, actually, we lost 9 of our invaders. But they were outnumbered 3-1. But we did 1 Marine survive to capture the ship. It's off the board. So that was way quicker than destroying it outright. And the final thing we want to do is now try and destroy these interceptors because they can do a lot of damage to our battleships. Let's close the gap here. We will target these missiles. That's 8 to 7. And we'll fire on that fleet there. And then we'll target the planetary surface with our nukes. Is it done? We'll advance these guys. Can we hit these? No. Can we hit the fighters? Yes. And we'll fire on the planet again. We haven't hit anything on the planet yet. Our missile flights are still en route. We'll advance these folks forward as far as they can go. They can't target that. We'll target the interceptors. We're getting good hits against the interceptors. They're down to 27 from 40. So we are chewing through that interceptor flight, that squadron. And we will advance the ship. Wow. Takes a little bit to turn. Trying to hit that missile salvo there if I can. Nah, it's ineffective. We're a little too far to get good hits, but we'll fire on the planetary surface. And then finally, let's get the Ogre in here. Ooh, missiles en route. Fire on the interceptors. They're down to 23. And we'll fire on the planetary surface. We'll hit done. Oh, wow. We're doing serious damage. This should scrub... Well, it's still 6 buildings and 4 colonists, so that's not bad. We didn't completely exterminate all life on the surface, but it was a simple enough battle. We didn't lose any ships, so we'll invade. This is interesting. They have the tank down there. Simple fight. We lost no Marines, of course, but they're rocking the anti-grav harnesses, not unlike us. The titanium armor is the same. The fusion rifle is the same, so it's really our racial bonus. And the fact that we have the powered armor suits make all of our Marines 3 hits per Marine to kill. So these 36 Marines are the equivalent of 108 Marines. It's a massive invasionary force. Now, all the transports but 1 will go back up into orbit. So we dropped 9 transports onto the planet. We'll get 8 back. The other 4 Marines will stay on this newly conquered planet here. But tier is ours. Simple enough. Here come the Xenos to complain.
How dare you enter Klakon space and attack one of our colonies? Beware, Sol says that, for such treachery will be answered in kind.
Let's see what they do. Biosphere is completed, and the Terran and the Klakon are at war. We were always at war. They just didn't know it, apparently. So Biosphere is completed there at Rigel Prime. That's perfect. That gives them plenty of headroom to grow. And let's get them that holo simulator as well. And we will annihilate the conquered colonists, of course. Let's get them all producing something useful for us. How about an automated factory, followed by a Marines barracks, followed by a robo-miner plant. Let return. We're going to have to get colonists en route there, actually. So let's jump to the tier system. Actually, that's not the right pane to do. We'll go to the colonies pane. We'll sort by name. See tier down here. Yeah, let's pluck someone away from Rotan and get them en route to tier. They'll be there in 4 turns. That's not too long. All right, so that's handled. That's nice. Food production's fine. Plenty of freighter fleets. We've got a whole boatload of transports being produced here. 2 battleships. Excellent. Oh, we have a new Purger 2. Let's send the Purger 2 off to Monius. I really don't think we're going to need it to finish off the Klakon, but let's take a look at their fleets here. 2 battleships, 2 destroyers, 2 frigates, and a bunch of transports. And at Montone, a single battleship. I don't think we have anything to worry about. Let's send our fleet onward to Kolden, which is their homeworld, I believe. I would love to capture some technologies. They've kept their fleet in orbit. We will try to capture some ships here. And we could take on a battle station and a missile base with their fleet. No. What we want to do is attack the star base in conjunction with their fleet. Gives them a lot less firepower. So that is the strategically optimal way to do this. We'll advance our main ship. How do we want to do this here? They have nothing on the planetary surface. That's great because then we don't have to focus on it. And I think we should try and take out the starbase altogether. We're going to fire everything onto the starbase immediately. And then we will do the best we can to pluck apart their fleets, capturing as many of their ships as we possibly can. All right. Of course, when our missile fleets hit that starbase, it'll be game over for it. They may retreat their fleet out of here. We may never get a chance to actually capture their ships, but either way, the combat should go relatively easily for us. Their frigates are essentially non-entities as well as their destroyers. Just no match against a proper ship of the line. Advance forward. Firing again. And one last battleship, the Ogre. Yeah. It's kind of an odd little duck in our fleet, but does the job. Actually hit pretty hard there with that. I guess that was the mass driver. We'll hit done. Oh, they're closing in with us. That's perfect. That'll make capturing their ships that much easier. I see they're firing heavy on the Ogre. They probably know it's less durable. This should finish the starbase here. No. Oh wow. That's a tough starbase. Okay. How do we want to do this here? We can start slowly picking apart their ships, trying to capture them. Okay, let's scan real quick. Let's see what we're looking at. Start with this frigate. It's only got 8 structure, 8 armor. Extremely tough to take this ship. Now, we could take the time to capture the frigate. The problem is if one of the other ship's warp cores breaches, it will probably destroy the heavily damaged frigate. So I think capturing that intact is nearly impossible. Let's check the destroyer. A little more durable. Probably crack that one. Well, let's do this. Let's send our missile flights on to the starbase. Again, we don't need it. We can't capture it. So let's just see if we can finish it off with our missiles. And then here, yeah, let's start with the mass driver. Can we punch through? Oh, wow. Well, we didn't get through. Alright, that did some damage. Okay, we'll hit done. Let's target their missiles. Oh, we got 4 or 5. That's not bad. Let's fire our nukes onto the starbase. Hopefully that'll be gone in another turn here. And then can we drive our ship forward at all? I don't know if we really need to. Let's fire everything we have on the battleship here. We've punched through. I guess we got to focus on disabling the engines before we can really do anything else, to be quite honest. So let's fire our missiles onto the starbase real quickly. The next salvo should be sufficient to finish that thing off. And then, yeah, let's see if we can continue to disable this ship. Start picking it apart. Let's use the PD lasers to try and burn through the shielding. Oh, that did a pretty decent job. Fusion beams next. Oh, wow. And then, yeah, here's the heavy neutron blasters. Ooh, that was too much. Okay, well, there you go. Get our ship in here real close. We'll hit done. Let's move. Well, let's see. Let's target those missiles. We got 2 of 5. That's good. I want to advance. Here we go. And we'll we won't fire the nukes. Hold on. Let's fire those at the starbase. And then let's hit everything else we can into the side of this battleship here. Done. And let's move this ship in for potential boarding actions. We will fire their missile salvo off at the starbase. Watching the clock here. And we'll fire everything else we have onto the back of that battleship. Oh, can we hit this one? Yeah, perfect. Hit done. And we'll bring... I guess we'll have the ogre just take this guy on straight away. Simple enough. And we'll close the gap here. Fire some point defense. Ignore the missiles, and we'll close the gap with this destroyer. Firing again. Immobilized. And let's board. Oh, I hope that missile volley doesn't destroy the ship. Capture. We did it. Ship is ours. That's 1 down. That's perfect. That's exactly what we wanted. We'll hit done. So let's see what happens to their starbase here. Oh, do we fire on the planet? Oh, gosh darn it. That was a mistake. Okay, let's see what the status of their starbase is. It's still alive because I fired missiles onto the planet. That was silly. Okay. Let's just fire on the frigate. Get it out of the way. Let's fire onto the ship here. And we'll hit done. Fire on these missile salvos. Fire onto this ship. We'll hit done. We'll hit done. Slowly pick this one apart. I could fire at these missiles. Let's fire at the missile salvo there. It did a pretty good job. Gosh, I wonder if we could just finish off this dang starbase here. We'll keep picking away at it. There you go. That's nearly done. And back to the ogre. Can we get the ogre into position here? Yeah. There. Oh, let's see. Let's try and take out this little missile salvo right there. Yeah, it's not too bad. This one. There we go. And we'll hit the missile warning so we can advance the ogre to the backside of that battleship. More missiles incoming. Oh my. We couldn't hit any of those, but yeah. Oh, actually, let's target the starbase here. We're still trying to finish that off. Oh, so close. Okay, let's hit done. Okay, that's fine. We got 1 destroyer. We did get a ship. And let's just go to auto now. Let's finish this off. And there's no... Just 2 infantry will invade. It's aquatic world. Find them beneath the ocean. If you can fight in the void of space in Space Marine armor, you can fight at the bottom of an ocean. It's not a problem. We win. Select a colony base for the Tau system. Yes, let's, right here, this Tau 2 is a small Terran planet. 12 max pop, abundant mineral resources. It's actually a really great planet. So they're landing here. We don't need them farming, but we will have them work on the automated factory, Marine barracks, followed by the robo-miner plant. Is that okay? And you can see here we are in the Colden system. There are battleships and transports in full retreat. We finished a colony base, a transport, another transport, and a supercomputer. And we will annihilate these colonists. Absolutely. Let's change over to the Marine barracks and then a robo-miner plant for them. Click return. Unfortunately, we've captured no technology yet. That's frustrating to me. What else can we do? We can send our transports on to Monius. At this point, I think we can send this battleship off from Rigel. I think their fleet is more or less broken. We'll continue the fight at Colden, and let's jump into fleets here. Let's scrap that destroyer we captured. It's the only reason I really wanted the ship was to scrap it. We don't need a destroyer of any sort, so we select it, and we scrap it. Yes. After scrapping the Hornet 7, you've mastered the following technology: security stations. That's fantastic. We'll hit return, and let's go into our info tab real quick, and we'll check our under equipment. Where would we find security stations? Right here. Security stations automatically controls and monitors vital sections of ship. Attacking intruders with computer-controlled weapons adds +20 to combat roll of Marines when defending against enemy borders. Probably not going to put that onto our ships. Our Marines are so hardy, and really no one ever tries to board us. That would be suicide. So, I would say for now, well, we'll get one more fight in here, folks. We don't need to wrap up just yet. Let's keep an eye here, though, on the Sakura single battleship. We're fine. And yeah, we're assembling a fleet at Monius. Many ships en route. I think that's going to work pretty well for us. And let's select our second combat. They kept 2 battleships back. So it'll be battle station, missile base, 2 battleships. So this will be fun. We're going to use a similar strategy. We do need to scour the planetary surface, though, at this point. So let's disable our other weapons and fire our missile salvos to take out that missile base. There's only one structure there, so it shouldn't be too bad. And then let's fire the rest of our equipment down on... Let's just start tearing into these ships here. I think we just need to do enough damage to them to disable the engines so they can't retreat again. That was the problem last time. Let's advance this ship. We will fire the missiles onto the planetary missile base. Because that can do a savage amount of damage to us, to be quite honest. And otherwise, we'll concentrate beam weapons onto this. We know we can capture the battle station with Marines pretty much any time we want. So I'm not worried about that at all. Advance the ship. Sort of a tedious process to select and deselect, but I think ultimately it'll be well worth it. There we go. We're starting to tear into the structure there. Nicely done. We'll advance the ship forward. Target the planet, and then target the ship. Oh, that hit hard. Okay, very nice. Next battleship closing in. Missiles away to the planetary surface. And the next salvo on the battleship. Excellent. And finally, the Ogre. We'll bring him in this way. We'll launch the missiles onto the planetary surface. And then we'll target this ship here. Hopefully they won't hit too hard. Yeah, okay. Well, it done? Oh, wow. That was a significant amount of damage to our ship there. That was impressive, actually. Okay, we're going to... Well, let's see. Let's close the gap. Let's fire our missile salvo off to the planetary surface. Nothing's contacted there yet. And then let's see if we can start picking through this here. Let's do the... heavy mass driver first. Boom. Takes down the shield. Let's do the mass drivers, 5 of them. And let's do the neutron blaster. And then can we target these missiles with our PDs? No. Oh yeah, we can, right there. Okay, we'll hit done. Let's bring this ship in. Let's fire the nukes off at the planetary surface. Let's fire some PDs while we've got them. And then let's see if we can chew our way through the ship's structure and armor. Okay, we'll hit done. Next ship. And we'll fire the missiles off. Now, bear in mind our main weapons fire straight ahead. So we may be a little limited in what we can hit this ship with. Yeah, that's not so great. I guess we could fire the rest on the planetary surface for the time being. We'll hit done. Let's get this ship in here. We'll fire our missiles at the planet. And let's try the... will the heavy neutron blaster just destroy that ship outright? I don't know. Let's be very cautious. Come on. Dang it. Well, that was a mess. Okay, we destroyed all the missiles in flight. That's not great. Let's try and disable this battleship. Let's close this guy in here. We're going to fire our missiles at the planet again, since almost all the missiles failed to impact with it. And then we'll fire everything at their ship. Done. And let's bring the ogre in. We will target those missiles. We took out 3 of the 12. We'll fire our nukes onto the planetary surface. And we'll fire what we've got left at this battleship here. Okay, we'll hit done. They're doing a pretty good amount of damage to us. Missile base is gone, finally. That's nice. Let's target these missiles. Can we get our ship in here? Okay. And let's try and carefully pick this ship apart. Here we go. Heavy mass driver. Heavy neutron blaster. Okay. Same thing here. Let's fire our heavy neutron blaster first. And then how about the heavy mass driver? And then how about the point defense? And then the mass drivers. Still intact. Okay. Let's get this ship advanced forward. Shoot that missile flight. And let's start punching through the shields here. And actually, let's see if we can just board and take this right now. Capture. We did. We lost 5. We killed 37. The ship is ours. This is great news for us. We'll hit done. And let's get this ship tucked in real closely. And we gotta just slowly pick this thing apart. Try the neutron blasters. Nope. Okay, well. It's a bummer we weren't able to capture any of their ships again. We'll invade. 12 infantry, 3 militia. We took 1 casualty, 2 casualties. We lost 2 Marines there in that fight. They actually put up a decent fight. And we got a spaceport. Excellent. This is our general site for commercial transaction, increasing the money generated by a colony by 50%. That should help with our financial woes. Very excited for that.
You are tuned into Jet Ed, your source for all the news you need to know. While carrying out high-level experiments, Illyrian scientists stumbled on the secret to nanotechnology. And now, in a GNN exclusive, your empire spans 17 star systems, outnumbering all the other empires.
I like to hear that. Okay, Colvin 3 had starvation. Holo simulator completed. Auto factory completed. You suppressed 1 clack on Rebel on Colvin 3. No problem. Annihilate conquered occupants? Yes. What do we want here? We want a marine barracks, a robo-miner plant, and then... I thought we could get a colony base. Maybe not? Oh, no, we have... Those are both our plants. They're already colonized. Okay. Well, that's perfect. I'm just going to take a quick look here. They're retreating some transports. They have nothing left. We destroyed the battleships. Oh, they have 1 battleship left. Interesting. En route here, We might try and capture it if possible. And I think that's where we'll wrap up for today. I will try to recall the next report to start generating star ports, which will help with our BC production. I think that's it for now. Good luck to you all.